First, we're going to start with lines. You know what a line is. It's any mark your pen makes on the paper. Did you know there are several types of lines? There's up and down, left and right, wiggly, super wiggly, zigzag, big wavy one, or curved lines, and dotted lines. There's also the spiral, which is just a curly line that goes around itself. Now there's also different types of way to draw each of these lines. For example, with a spiral, do you draw it in or out, or left or right? For a zigzag, do you do one line or a bunch of lines to make up the zigs and the zags? Neither one of these is more right or wrong, they're just different, and you can use both to make your art better. A way to practice your lines is to draw a line and then try to draw another line parallel to it without touching it. Try to keep the same distance the entire length of the line. It's trickier than it looks, and the more you practice, the easier it gets. You can even try to use dots or lines to show shadow. The more you put closer together, the darker it looks, and as you space them out, it looks lighter. You can use this to fill a shape. Now we're going to look at shapes. These are the simple, basic shapes: a circle or an oval, a triangle, which can be made many different ways, a square, or a rectangle. But there are also some more complex shapes that we can use when we're drawing, like a star and a heart. Now when you draw a star, where do you start? Do you start at the bottom left? Why don't you try different ways to draw your shapes? If you notice you always start your hearts the same way, try them at a different point. And when you draw a square, do you draw it all as one line, or do you draw 4 different lines? With a circle, the faster you draw, the more likely you are to overlap. One way to practice your shapes is similar to lines, where you just draw the shape and try to make the lines parallel but not touch. Try doing it differently. If you draw a square with 1 line, try drawing it with 4. Notice how the shape gets kind of squished the smaller you get. You can also make a spiral into any shape by just not connecting the edges and going in again. Now you can combine your lines and shapes to get all sorts of fun things, like this squiggle shape, or this spiky box, or even just dotted lines, which make them seem almost invisible. Now, the most important part to get better at drawing is to practice. Here's a challenge. Copy a scribble. On one half of a folded piece of paper, draw a scribble, and on the other half, try to draw it the exact same way. Again, this is harder than it looks. Another challenge would be filling a shape or a page with patterns. You can split it up and fill each box with one type of shape in many different sizes or different lines. How many different ways can you draw a star? How many stars can you fit in a square? Or you can combine different shapes and lines to create a wild and crazy pattern. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to draw something every day to complete the Inktober challenge.